Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays HyperRogue. I have been continuing to bash my head against the whirlpool problem, both off-camera and in some failed takes. I really don't want to do another 5-minute episode, and so I am going to head back out once again, trying to go on a Hyperstone quest, see some of the stuff we can see in this game. But we are going to hold off on going to the whirlpool for a little while, because I'm just finding that I'm not making any progress with it. I keep having new ideas, and they keep not working out, and I've just run out of ideas for how to make it through the whirlpool. And so I am going to take a break from it. I have been really enjoying bashing my head against it. It is one of those really big challenges that I love about this game that is like, I don't even know how to approach it. I love when this game really makes me have to think laterally. And I think the biggest time that this game has done that is when I was first figuring out the Orb of Yendor quest, and when I was first figuring out the Camelot quest. And those were both quests where I had to really think about things I couldn't just push things around on the screen and see what happened. I really had to think about the system, almost like not even while playing, but just think about it in my off time. And that's something that I'm going to have to do in order to take on the whirlpool. So we are going to try and work our way through the rest of the game and just see if we can just have a good run. And just try and just have a normal good run that we will cap off later on with going to the whirlpool as sort of the final challenge. Because I do want to do this as a Hyperstone run. I would actually really like to kind of, the one thing that we did not manage in that wonderful Hyperstone run that we had not too long ago was we got to the edge of Camelot and just barely did not make it in. And then we got caught by some eagles and we were not able to get the grail. And so that is something that I would like to do probably around, I'm not sure when the best time to do it would be. I think probably like very close to the end, right before we activate hyperstones. And so I'm thinking that amber should probably be the last thing that we attempt to get. So what we would do is we would get like 9 amber, and then, or maybe we would even get 10 amber, trigger hyperstones, and then just, the mistake that I made last time was I got greedy. And so we will only go for 10 hyperstones. And we'll be really careful. Maybe not even go for 10 hyperstones right away, but go for the grail and then for the hyperstones. But that's all a very long way off, and we have a very long way to go before we get anywhere close to having to worry about that. Though because we have unlocked 30 gems, we now have to decide to not go into the beach, not go into the ocean at all. And so that is going to kind of inform where we go from here. Now, I think that the minefield is someplace that we need to go relatively early on, but these episodes that I have been, or these runs that I've been doing, recording some of them, not recording others, throwing out pretty much all of them, have gone through the minefield a lot, and I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of the minefield just because it requires so much concentration, and it requires so much carefulness that I can't really talk about anything else. And I have been talking about interesting things. I wish I could remember some of them that I talked about. I have kind of a bad habit of, if I don't like something, I throw it out without really taking the time to say, do I want to use any part of this? So getting the Phoenix Feathers means that we have Orbs of Safety available to us, and that will allow us to take breaks, which is the most important thing. and it will allow us a little bit more peace of mind as we go into the whirlpool. I believe orbs of safety spawn even if you do not have 10 pearls or 10 phoenix feathers. But I'm not completely confident about that. I don't really know what the rules are, and so I want to have a little bit of extra peace of mind as we go into that part of the game. How are we doing on mirrors? We still need quite a few more. And I have totally lost track of where our crossroads was, but this one will do nicely for us. And given the size of that hole, I'm guessing that I did find my way back to the crossroads that we were at. So we're going to head over this way, try and find some stuff that's easy to get while staying within sight of the crossroads. Not wanting to take a lot of extra risks because I've been doing a lot of very risky plays that just haven't been panning out. And so I am going to, let's see, we have 50, we need 10 more. So that would be the alchemy lab, the beach, we don't want to hit the beach, the jungle, let's see, I think it's down to, the alchemy lab or the jungle, because we're saving the beach for last. And so let's head into the alchemy lab and see what we can do here. Vipul, the top speedrunner of this game, actually figured out that it was faster, I think, to go through Relia, or to go through the temple, actually, which really surprised me, that the temple was faster than the alchemy lab. And it makes sense, especially because of the way that Vipul plays, using the scroll wheel to move in straight lines very fast, which is not very often possible in the alchemy lab, and so it is actually probably a better idea. But now that we have the beach, Vipul has set an even faster time, I think like 7 minutes, by, I assume, I don't actually know this, but by going through the beach and getting the amber as one of the treasures. And that is pretty easy to get pretty fast. If the tide is out of sync, you can spin the mouse wheel just over yourself, and that will end up just passing a lot of turns. Or you can hold down S for a while and just watch the tide recede from in front of you. So we really want to find a crossroads at this point. We want to get back out there, start exploring Relia and the dry forest, because we're really focusing on just having a normal, really enjoyable, basic, boring game for now. And then in the later parts, I'm going to... my plan, basically, is to just ramp up the risk as we go. And so, one thing that I have kind of been not totally happy with is my total avoidance of the dead caves for almost all purposes. I have even, gone way out of my way using orbs of space to try and avoid the dead caves, and so I want to really have this plan to take on some really risky stuff as we go through this. And I don't know which I'll do first between the whirlpool and the dead cave. Probably the whirlpool, just because it's kind of the new hotness that I want to get done. But I'm also kind of thinking that maybe the dead cave is a better idea, simply because I can say that I have gotten out of the dead cave. I cannot say that I have ever gotten out of the whirlpool successfully. So there's a place where it's nice to be able to just spin the mouse wheel. We needed a blue slime to come up to us. Now, are there any... I'm wondering if there's anywhere for us to build a slime bridge to, because that can be very fun, but I don't actually see anything that would be really useful. So we will continue on our way. So what's next? We actually have all of the tier 60 areas open to us. So, except for, yeah, all of them. The only area we do not have available to us is the Emerald Mine, which is actually requires 65. And so we shall get fern flowers. And then, I think we will probably be wanting to take a break. I'm playing really carefully and kind of slowly, so hopefully this will be a full-length episode. But I do not know that yet, and I'm trying to leave a path back for myself so that I can find my way back to the crossroads. But I'm not really, like, dedicated to that, and so I don't know if I'll actually be able to read my path once we actually start turning around. And I do love the way you can kind of make trees melt before you. That was very nearly game over. That was kind of reckless of me, spinning the mouse like that. So here's a Crossroads Type 2 that we could get into if we can't find our way back to the Crossroads 1. How are we doing? We still actually have quite a few fern flowers that we need to get. So we can grab this one, and this one, and then probably going to want to double back, actually. Going to double back this way, and we actually have some fire fairies coming after us. And so we are going to kind of have to make the decision, kind of the executive decision, whether or not we want to go into that crossroads. And I'm confident enough in my sort of forestry skills that I want to head back over this way. And we should be pretty well out of the reach of the fire, but we can actually even hop over to this forest and be totally out of reach of the fire. And then we only need 3 more, so we can grab this one, and then probably this one over here for the last one. And so we don't even need to go out of sight of the crossroads. Very nicely done. So that puts us at 70. Statues of Cthulhu are probably something that we want at this point. Probably want to avoid the Red Rock Valley. We may want to get grimoires so that we can start throwing fire, and that will really help us out in the vineyard and in the Red Rock Valley. But for now, I need to work on escaping this rock snake. And it looks like we have already lost it, I'm not sure. Looks like we've just gotten out of sight of it, at least. Which is fine. That's a sufficient way of dealing with rock snakes. Now, I can't remember, does Orb of Flash start fires? No, it doesn't actually do anything to vines. So yeah, Orb of Storms or Orb of the Dragon we would need in order to make some headway in there. So, let's see. I want to check the time, and we are actually still pretty early on. I'm getting kind of hazy because I just did a take before this that did not go very well. And so I am unsure of what I actually want to do. I'm kind of disappointed with how much I am floundering for things to talk about, and so I think what I actually want to do is drop into an Orb of Safety, and in the next part, which should be going up relatively soon, I don't really know how much time I get to actually upload these, depends on the week. But hopefully it will not be too long, and we will come back and we will be heading into Relia and starting to ramp up the risk a little bit. I'm going to kind of take each episode, like we'll have the first episode be the really safe, really calm episode where not much happens, and then the next episode hopefully we'll find some interesting things to talk about, and we will start taking some risks. We'll start going after grimoires, wine, and mines, bomber bird eggs. And the bomber bird eggs are going to be very useful for getting into the whirlpool later on. So that is what is coming up. Until then, thank you very much for watching and have a great rest of your day.